So to get this going, guys, we have Alex Schnobrick and Logan Huber both played in the club. So I'm just going to give them a chance to kind of introduce themselves, talk about kind of who they played for, what year they played, and then we'll just kind of ask some questions and go from there. So Alex, why don't you start first?
Yeah, I joined St Croix soccer when I turned 14 years old and played all the way up till I was 19 there. I played for Juventus, coached by Matt Carlson, Scott Massini, and the best Mike Huber. I played outside back and a little bit outside forward, and sometimes couple times center mid. Um, Won 3 state cups with Mike Huber. Went to regionals. Traveled couple times to different tournaments. So that was really fun. Overall, a good experience. Now I just play now, or I got done playing at St. John's and St. Thomas, and I played there as a center mid for both 4 years. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Logan.
Okay, so I've played at St. Croix for as long as I can remember, probably ever since I was in U8s or U9s. And yeah, I've won a couple of state cups. I've had a lot of different coaches like Casey. I've had my dad. I've had Nate. I've had almost, I don't know, a lot of people. Right now, I'm currently at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And I'm also playing over the summer, I'm playing with Minneapolis City. And yeah.
Perfect. All right. So first question, we can just go Alex and Logan each time. Basically, what was your recruiting process like? Take us through when you were 16, 17, 18, and then obviously you chose a college, what that looked like.
Yeah, I had this written down, so I'm just gonna read it, you guys. So the recruiting process was good. St. Croix Soccer did a really good job of bringing my team to different showcases, all the way from Iowa to the Carolinas to Florida. I'm sorry. And then obviously playing regionals, MRL and NPL definitely helped too, because you never know what coaches would or could be watching. Same thing with winning and attending state cup, coaches there all the time, especially if you win the state cup and attend regionals. The recruiting process itself started off with Minnesota colleges contacting me junior year without me really sending any emails or contacting them. Then the more serious and upper division colleges, you had to reach out yourself. I talked to a lot of D3 schools, couple D2 and a couple D1 and a couple NAIA schools. I toured a lot of schools, ate with the teams at the cafeteria, attended small kickabouts, futsal sessions, played on their fields, I guess. Sat in locker rooms before the college matches, and the schools that I toured were the Air Force, Luther College, Wartburg, St. John's, St. Thomas, and a couple more, as well as the recruiting process, such as doing the ID showcases. I did a couple at Madison with Shea Bottom back when I did not know him really that much, and now a couple of years ago I ended up actually playing at St. Thomas with him in the center mid position, so that was really cool. So there's a couple things that kind of helped me with the recruiting process.
All right, Logan, what was yours like?
All right, so mine was, I think I'm first going to start off with, I think the most important part is getting your name out there. You need to be able to send emails out to these coaches and to these programs to get your name on their radar, especially if you aren't going to these regionals and tournaments like that. But a good way is just to reach out to all these coaches, have a pretty standard email, and to send that out to all of them, and then also to attend ID camps. I think that's really important and gets you on their radar. They get to see you play, and that's essentially how I ended up at Omaha here. But so I started off and I got talked to by a lot of Division III colleges in Minnesota and the Midwest in general. But I wanted to try to go to the Division I route. And like Alex said, I mean, it's a little bit more difficult. They don't really reach out to you as much unless you're just like a total all-star player. And so I had to reach out to all these colleges, and I went to a bunch of different ID camps. I went to Loyola Chicago. I came to Omaha. Oh gosh, quite a few other ones as well, but I can't name. And then I think finding a place that fits you right is also important. Like Alex said, when you are on these visits and you're practicing with the teams or playing futsal, or you're even in the locker room just hanging out with the guys or staying overnight, it's like, can you imagine yourself being there for like the next 4 years? Like, do you like the guys? Are then the guys nice? Do you like the coach? Do you like the coach's playing style? And like these are all questions that you have to ask the coach as well, like what their playing style is, like where they see you playing. Like I've always been a center back, and my big thing is like I can play center back or I can play left back, but like if they already have a bunch of other center backs that are all older than me and everything like that, I probably don't have a very great chance of playing very early on. And so that's a big thing, I think, is just figuring out like where you are on the team, if you can get in there with the guys, if you like the guys, and how much you enjoy the school, if they have like what you're looking for in school. And yeah, so in my recruiting process, that's kind of what happened. I reached out here to Omaha, and then I came to an ID camp, and then they invited me back, and I stayed overnight with the guys, and they had a game, and I really enjoyed my experience. And yeah, so this is where I ended up.
Awesome. So what I hear from you guys is, number one, obviously you got to put yourself out there and get in front of them with emails and things like that, and then go to ID camps, specifically the schools that you know that you want to go to. You need to get in front of them.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, or just seeing too, because I know there's other colleges that don't really hold ID camps, but their coaches will be at other ID camps. And so I know there's like some camps that have just like 20, 30 colleges that are going to be there. And so that's also important to look at.
So you kind of already answered some of the questions that I pre-made for you guys. So you rattled through a lot of those things. How about this one? If you could change anything in the recruiting process, what would it be that you guys went through? Now that you're older and have already gone to college and everything.
Yeah, I can go first. So my junior year, I really didn't do a whole lot. My junior year of high school, I really did not do a whole lot. It was my senior year when we started doing a bunch of different showcases and attending tournaments, that you just use the same format for each college coach that you'd send off. Obviously, change the name, change the school name. Even like what Logan said, when you're attending these ID showcases, when they're done, you can even come up to the coaches and introduce yourself. Hey, this is my position. What kind of playing style you guys have? What positions do you guys have open, or what positions you're trying to recruit? That's really, really important. So one thing that I could change is I wish I could start contacting the schools a little bit earlier. Let them know which college showcases or tournaments I will be attending, and like what times what the time you're actually going to be playing in those tournaments, and maybe what field. As well as creating a highlight reel with you guys having trace game film. Well, at least when I was playing, I don't know if this is right, but I never really had that back when I was playing. So you get to learn by watching yourself play through video, but as well, you can take those clips and create a cool highlight reel of all your strengths, all your good things that happened, and really make a great thing out of it.
And kind of to expand on that, I mean, I don't really know how it's working right now with like the recruiting process with like ID camps and everything with COVID. But I know we've even brought on a couple of our guys on our team here like this past semester, and it's been all over the film that the coaches got sent. And so obviously, yeah, making a tape with all your highlights and showing off what your strengths are, and that's really important. And then also he kind of took mine, what I was going to say. I would just start the recruiting process earlier and reach out to more coaches so that you have more options in the end and you're the one to choose.
So it sounds like the biggest thing is that you get on it as early as possible, so you're not kind of just at the end there waiting, right?
Yeah,
Trying to figure it out.
no one wants to be figuring out the very end of their senior year. That's no fun, and then everything's rushed.
For sure. So Logan, that kind of goes to one of my questions. How has COVID changed the college game? And you said specifically in terms of the recruiting piece, a lot of it's just video right now.
Yeah, like I know we brought in a couple of guys from like Ireland and overseas this year, and I kind of just asked them, I was like, how did coach even like see you guys? And it was all just over game film and videos. So
Nice. Alex, what's the biggest difference now that you're a coach in the club versus when you were a player that you think, kids
Yeah,
should know?
for sure. I just wrote down difference I see now as a coach that I wish I knew as a player going through the club was just the little details that a player should be doing without the coach constantly reminding them and nagging them. I picked that up through college soccer, watching a player that transferred from a D1 to a D3. We were just training, or we were passing the ball between beginning of training, and he would just do a one touch pass and just look over his shoulder for no reason, just building that habit. Yeah, details go a long way. The technical work off field that we do in the winter really help out, and those details go a long way with your individual skill. And without saying that, you cannot just go through the motions with them, and doing those skills can put you on that starting 11 that you really want to be on, whether it's your club team or your college team. As well as a coach now, I'm constantly telling the players to like receive back with the back foot, check your shoulder. It's a good habit to have, and I feel like soccer players who pay attention to the details and doing the extra step will go a long way if they want to play beyond club soccer.
Love it. Logan, what do you see as the biggest difference between club soccer and college soccer?
yeah, so one is definitely fitness levels. Everyone at the Division 1 level is extremely fit, which you don't always see that in club soccer. And then it's like the pace is just so much quicker. Like right now, like when you're passing a ball, like you have to almost hit it like you're shooting a ball to someone's foot. Because of that extra second, 2 seconds that they have on the ball can make the whole game. Because then it goes to the next person, they have 4 extra seconds. And then also just, yeah, like Alex said, always checking your shoulders and seeing what's around you and thinking about what you're going to do before you actually get the ball. So like knowing where your team is and knowing where the other team is and just knowing what you're going to do before you even get the ball at all.
So along those lines, what would be the biggest piece of advice that you could give them in terms of what they should be working on right now to get prepared?
I would say just kind of your spatial awareness and making sure that you're always checking what's around you, even if it's just some little drill where you're just passing back and forth, just checking your shoulders every single time, like 2 or 3 times before you get the ball. And then just paying attention to the small details, passing to the right foot, receiving with the right foot, all that kind of stuff.
How?
Yeah, Logan pretty much said it. And as well as like communication, giving people tips and knowledge and what they should be doing next, right? That's basically it.
All right, if you guys could sum up, your whole process and, the advice that you would give these kids that are going through it. So a lot of our like 05s, 04s right now are kind of in that going to be junior, sophomore year. We have a couple seniors on here as well. What would it be that they need to get after right now to be able to be recruited?
Start reaching out to coaches, no matter, like, try to sell yourself, but don't be overly over the top. You at the end of the day, you want to be happy and where you're playing, what system you're playing. In trainings, always try to be the best man, whether it's off field, on field, and basically don't just go through the motions. And as well as pay attention to details and train how you would basically play.
What do you think, Lugs?
Yeah, I would think too, just always staying in like as good a shape as you can. Like over the summer, you can't take the summer off and you can't gain an extra 10, 15 pounds. Like you have to keep working and keep running and staying fit. Like that's the thing that I hated the most, or I still hate the most, is like our fitness testing and stuff like that is just, it's not fun. And it's a whole lot better if you're fit. And also you're not going to be playing in the games at a high level if you're not fit. And so I think, yeah, just going into practice every day and working your hardest and doing extra than what is asked for you out of your club coaches or even your college coaches. Like you can never do too much. And then I guess, yeah, just reaching out now before, like early to soccer for coaches, like just reaching out early, sending them emails, kind of being a little bit of a pest if they don't respond to you. Like just keep bugging them. They'll get back to you eventually.
Love it. Mike, Tony, you guys got any questions for these guys or things that you think we could add to this?
No, I don't know. Actually, I kind of agree with really what, obviously I coached both Alex and Logan, and I think, from a parent perspective too, the one thing that I would say, even now going through with my daughter is again, the earlier you reach out, the better. That'd just be my thing too. And I know like when Logan was home over the summer, honestly is a lot of fitness. I mean, that's all he was doing is working on fitness and going out every day and working, at the high school by himself even. So it's that extra time that you put in off the field away from your practice that'll help.
Great advice. Tony, Joe, anyone else? Awesome. Any players have any questions for these guys now that we have them?
Yeah, I have a question. So for Logan, you were talking about the overnight, like stay with the teams. Were you the one to reach out to them to ask if you could go over and stay the night and stuff like that? Or did they ask you?
So I went to go visit for a game and to watch them play. I'm not 100% sure who they played. And then the coach came up to me after, and it was kind of already planned out before, but I did not reach out to them. The coach reached out to me and he asked if I would want to stay overnight. And I think if you ever have the chance to do that, I would say 100% like do it. But no, I did not reach out about that. They reached out to me about staying over.
It can go either
Okay.
way. You can ask a coach if an overnight's on the table. Otherwise, most likely they'll be the one to ask you for it.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else think of something?
Casey, I have just a little quick thing with the guys. So I know reaching out is a big thing. So we have a couple of emails that we'll send off to your coaches. So they'll put it on TeamSnap, and it just gives you an idea, right? Because I think that's a hard thing too, is like, what do I say, right? We have a couple that are initial ones. Some are very basic. Some have a little bit more information with it, but the more details you give them, the better off you are. And then as Logan and Alex said, and Logan said that quite well, is that you need to be a pest. I think that's a huge thing, because a lot of kids feel that, hey, I'm here, come and find me. And it's kind of the opposite. You need to go find them. There's a couple other different websites that are really good now too, that kind of gives you an idea what schools are where. So when I send you, or I send your coaches the emails, I'll send you that link also. And it's interactive throughout the country, so you can see where all the Division I, Division II, Division III programs are. And like I said, it gives you an idea. But I would reach out to people. We have a list on the website that has all the schools that are coming as of now. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't reach out to other people. Division I can't be there in person, but we're live streaming it. And plus you're going to have plenty of video. It'll be archived. When Alex is not that far removed from it, but it's changed drastically in the last couple of years. It's probably even changed even from Logan, which has only been a couple of years, how much different it is. So take advantage of that. I think is the biggest thing. You know, take advantage of the videotaping, because that's not going to go away, and that's how a lot of coaches are going to start to look at players too.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got. Boys, if you see us in the dome or anything, you need anything, let us know. Alex is around. Logan will be home intermittently. And yeah, go from there. Look for that email with some template emails and ideas to send to coaches here shortly. And that's what we got. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.